Thursday from 2 to 3, we strive to bring power, dignity, class, and respect to our communities. That's what we strive to do here, because that's what we are, King. We are respectful men. Thank you, brother. I always say, you know what I mean, brother, man? I said, brother, you know, things would be a little different over time. You know what I mean, King? I believe in time will work things out. You told me that God had a plan the other day, King. You said something, King, the other day. You said, I was almost gave up, but Ty had talked to me and said, had reminded me that God gives other angles and how to deal with things and not to give up sometimes. You know what I mean? Thank you, brother. Thanks for sitting in with me today. Again, at the Tyrone Hour, you know what we strive to do, King. Shock and awareness and accountability.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Yeah.
On all avenues. On all avenues. You know, holding your composure when you should hold it.
Yep.
You get me? Holding your composure when you should hold it. Being able to discuss and talk, civilize.
Yes.
You know, that's in any situation you get into, King. You know, because I thought I was trained by my elders. I'm only speaking old wisdom.
I'm listening.
You hear me, brother? I'm only speaking old wisdom, brother. You know what I mean? I said, again, King, I talked to a couple of our listeners today when I was at around the way today. Just cutting grass. King got it in today. Cut some major grass today. But anyway,
okay.
I seen Aunt Curlin today, and I told Aunt Curlin I would love for her to call in because she had something she wanted to talk about. And, you know, we me and you elaborated on it, King.
Yeah.
But regardless of what we might have, our opinions on it, she had something she wanted to express about it. You get me?
Gotcha.
So I'm going to wait to see if she calls in and talk about this Facebook thing. She has a big issue about that. And, you know, we have an issue. I have an issue with it too, King, because, you know, you said something before about how...
well, give her the number, you know, so anybody
she
can call her. Well, just anybody, you know.
Yeah, 410-761-1592 if you want to call in and talk about this Facebook. And what I mean by Facebook, you can go any avenues with it. You can go any avenues. It's an open topic right now. It has nothing to do with last week's show or anything. This is an open topic about Facebook. And what Aunt Carolyn was talking about was about how the children are getting into it and being able to. And King, you said something out there. You said about how it morphed into something totally different. Can you elaborate on that to me a little bit?
Sure. Well, you know, when we talk about Facebook, we talk about its origins. You know, Facebook was supposed to be a thing for, you know, family and friends, you know, old friends to reconnect. Family, you know, when you have reunions and things like that. Of course, you know. So it was used. It was, you know, that was, you know, the original thought behind it. From there, it morphed into, like you see, all these other social media platforms, you know, like the Instagram, the TikToks, the YouTubes, you know, Rumbles, Twitch, whatever. You know, all of them have morphed into, you know, this is, you know, this is my platform. This is my entity. Basically, when the pandemic hit, you know, a lot of people took that time to learn how to get money or make money off of the internet. So they call it the Great Resign. And Facebook and all these other platforms was, you know, that helped lead it because it gave you a certain amount of people. Like if you have 10 followers, you know, then that 10 followers, if they like what you saying and y'all in that echo chamber and you spitting that venom and they like it, then they go out and them 10 tell 10 people. That's 10 times 10. That's 100. That's 100. So now you went from 10 to 100. Then now them 100 do the same thing. You know, now you got 10,000 followers, and now you know, just imagine. You know, this is minuscule because they try to run the numbers up because you get paid percentages wise when you're doing, you know, large numbers like that. You know, with the Facebook and the
if you got over 10,000 folks or something.
You know, so you get paid for it. Your videos become monetized, and you know it's based off of how many streams or how many people view it or how many clicks, you know, things like that. So, you know, one of those other platforms that came out of it was OnlyFans. And you had, that's a platform where, you know, you got a lot of women, but there's men on there too that's selling pictures or selling streams of.
You told me about that.
Their body parts.
One of the NAACP when people was on there.
And it's quite lucrative. All right, Gene, I see you give me the look. I mean, if you want to ask the question, just ask the question. All right. Well, remember that lady who was the president of the NAACP? Yeah. She was a white woman, but she passed as black. Right, her. Well, she has an OnlyFans account.
A body, showing her body and everything.
Man, my goodness, that's what I'm saying. I understand why she passes black, but I'm just saying that
Wow.
Listen, your favorite comedian.
What? Led the NAACP.
What? Your favorite
account.
Your favorite comic, Lou Now, she got a OnlyFans account. You know what I mean? And again, because so many dudes, as I hate to say this, but it's the truth, have so many weird fetishes, the foot fetish, the nose, the hands, all kinds of mess. So these women are making buku money off. And I'm not talking about no little bit of change. I mean, they're making great money. You got somebody like Black China who was making like $2 million a month.
What's the name of it again? The website?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, you had
OnlyFans.
Yeah, that chick who was on. Wow. Remember that little girl that was on Dr. Phil? Talk about Meet Me Outside. The little loud girl. Yeah. Okay, her name was Bob Baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Bob Baby she's the truth because she done made some 50-something millions off of OnlyFans, bought herself a house at her mama's house in Florida. I mean, this is what it morphed into. So, this whole wholesome approach of Facebook reaching out to finding out your friends and this, that. Yeah, okay, it's for that, but it's also used like any other platform to make money.
So basically, even though when you get on Facebook, you can still have sub-joints hidden in your name.
Of course. I mean, all of it is set up this way. How many times do you have to understand, we are governed by people, that make the laws. Yeah. These are politicians that make the laws. So it shouldn't astound anybody when I say that the legal age of consent in Maryland is 16. Yeah. And you're talking about subdivision was inside Facebook where you can hide this, hide that. Yes. Because these people out here, these people that's writing the laws, they are creeps and critters and devil worshippers and pedophiles and things like that. And nobody really wants to call it out. No. But this is really what's going on. So again, so you have platforms like Facebook that, for all intents and purposes, started out, trying to be good.
Wholesome, started to be wholesome, but it ended up being,
with the wrong mentality. And before you know it, now, it's a soft porn site like any and all other platforms.
Pretty much a soft porn site. That's what basically all of these sites end up being, soft porn sites. Yeah. King, you hit me with a bombshell when I came here today. I didn't know Commissioner Harris resigned immediately. I didn't know that. I just seen him on TV last night. Was it last night?
Last night.
Talking about how, I'm talking about last night.
Last night in front of City Hall.
How things were, but he did make an appointment to see. I seen his frustration when he said that what you're asking me to do, and then what I'm told to do is going contrary to what needs to be done.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Well,
so I seen his frustration, and then this morning you hit me with that. Just now you told me about that. I was like, wow. He had a press conference?
Yeah, they had a lengthy press conference. Yeah. Him, Brandon Scott, the other guy, and then they was just playing musical chairs, going back and forth, answering questions.
A Marylander.
Of course, he's from Baltimore.
He's from Baltimore?
He's from Pigtown. Worley. Yeah, he's from
White
Pigtown.
guy?
Yeah.
I have no problem with that because we talked about that before.
See, what you're gonna have a problem with is that he was like, no, we're gonna continue to advance
the same process.
The agenda that we started 4.5 years ago with the mayor's plan and his crime plan, or how they intend to dismantle the citizens and allow the criminals to run rampant, like a real Gotham City.
When I look at King, he had to say that. He's getting the job now. And he was standing out front with the film in front of him, and the head guy is the one that he clearly said, I have to do what the last
Well,
You know what
I
mean?
get
So-
it, Ty, but here's the thing.
Yeah, go
you
ahead.
know, it comes down to your morals, man. If you have a job that have to compromise your morals, I mean, how many times you've worked with me? You've seen me in these management positions, junior executive positions. I don't sell my soul. When I go in there, I say what I gotta say, at the detriment of myself if need be. But I do what I do for the person that's coming behind me, because me, I know they're gonna make an example. How many times I told you that? They're gonna make an example out of me. But the one that come behind me that's more articulate, the one that, you know, who's gonna say, they're not gonna do him like they did me, because they're gonna be like, oh, now there's gonna be a pattern because we had somebody who first stepped up. He was the martyr.
Yeah.
But the person coming behind them can now use me as, you know, as a measuring stick for how they're being treated,
Yeah.
and say, listen, I'm being treated better or worse than this person, predicated off of how, you know, how they're being treated and the things that is being said. So, you know, I get it. But just like that, you had Jillian Carter out here, and she had a press conference espousing the same
Touting
old
the
thing.
same thing.
Just saying how
she's,
that her crime
she
plan
has to be. She has to go.
her crime plan is,
She
you know,
is
is working.
refusing-
You have to give it time.
She's refusing to see that these children are
And that
having.
it's not the
these
children's
children are
fault.
listening to what's being said.
But it's not the children's fault,
It's-
though.
what that's she saying?
But it's not the children's fault.
Yeah,
That's
that's what she's
according to
saying.
her.
That's what
It's
she's
not the
saying.
children's
That's what
fault.
she's saying.
It's
Yeah.
whatever's going on in the house, and then you see these policies coming from Brandon Scott. And, you know, and again, as a police commissioner, I almost would have to say, yeah, I need this. I gotta resign. I am looking
'Cause
for
I-
another job,
Yeah.
because as
I
a
can't be a
police,
part of this.
as a policeman,
Yeah.
you asked me to enforce a curfew,
Laws.
a curfew
The law.
that you just went back and told the kids that they don't have to obey
That's
if
crazy.
they don't want to, and on top of it, you double down just in case
Wow.
the state's attorney might want to bring prosecution against them. It's told that it is not a crime, so they now have a viable defense for anything that happens to them based off of the
Hold up, man.
information that was given by Brandon Scott. And according to these people and Vincent Saladina,
whatever his name
yeah,
is.
Saladina, you know, excuse me
Yeah.
for butchering his name. Hold on, Ty.
Yeah.
25 and under should be held or dealt with in a juvenile capacity.
Yeah.
They keep banging this stuff, and then you got Wes Moore touring the country, telling people, come to Maryland, check out Maryland, where we're pro-abortion.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
kill your baby up to 9 months. You
And
know?
we'll kill you.
And we'll kill, you know, and we'll allow the assailants to kill you
Kill
at
you
will.
at will.
At will.
At will. King,
You
I
know?
say, King, you know, man, wow, you went into it on the Facebook thing. I really like that because, you know, I'm waiting on Carol to call in because she has some things she wanted to talk about that. But again, you said the genuineness of it disappeared. Because, you know, once you get a person in the room and they done had a couple beers, a couple blunts and everything, their minds start wandering. Now you playing on the cell phone. Now you shotting out a little porn. Now you taking a video shot of yourself now. Then you're putting it on a hidden account when your name is Mikey, when your name is Tyrone, huh?
But here's the thing. Vita. Hey,
Vita.
Vita called in. She said she's listening. She sent a text in. What's up, Vita? How you doing?
How you doing,
Tell
Vita?
her, and I said, what's up? Everybody down there, the family, I love them.
Yes. Thank
You
again.
know,
I say thank y'all for listening down there, and pass the torch, Vita, if you can.
She can. She the
if you
social,
can, pass
she the
the
social
torch.
media guru there.
That's
she knows
right.
what she doing with that stuff.
Pass
so.
the torch and get this message out for us, Vita. I mean, we got Baltimore, and we finally get in the district, and
We got North Carolina.
we got North Carolina,
South
Carolina.
You know, we saw
Come on now, we even got folks from California calling from time to time. You know what I mean? Movie directors, yeah, calling in and expressing their opinions and things that go on in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Now I said all these places are hundreds of miles away from Baltimore, but they calling in with opinions about Baltimore. King, I tell you, King, we look downtown and we see what's going on, man. You told me not only is Commissioner Harris bailing out, the whole team is fairly
Well,
bailing
listen,
out.
he had
King.
2 deputy commissioners.
Yeah.
2 deputy mayors. You have Shantae Jackson, the Monzi guru.
Yeah.
And now you have the commissioner.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these things do not look good for Brandon Scott. But what I don't want people to be fooled by is the departure of these people. Understand that there is some type of investigation that's going on.
That's why they going down, King. That's why they leaving.
It reminds me of an old rap lyric. When secret indictments come around, you can look up and down the block. Kings cannot be found.
Yeah.
So
King.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's some kind of secret indictments that's going on here. If these people are being investigated, because again, when you look at their movements and you look at the money that has been
shoveled out,
literally shoveled out to these people, and then you listen to the rhetoric and how they talk to the citizens and think that the citizens here are just so dumb, and that there's just a fraction of us who don't, who are in the know. And I'm like, nah, you'll be surprised. There are way more conservatives in the hood than you think.
Yeah,
there are way more people there who are
Did you
against
hear the brother
abortion
Let me tell
and all
you,
that other stuff.
Now, we've been talking about the Republican wave. Well, Dr. K on 88.9 was talking about Donald Trump and how he had destroyed everything. Well, a brother called in. Guess what this brother said, King? He said, Dr. K, I want to let you know, the brothers in the hood support Donald Trump, and you'll see it this year. They had enough.
Yo, I mean, again.
The brothers in the hood are willing to support Trump or DeSantis. No matter.
Ty, what did I call myself? Now, you can verify this. This goes back to before
The
Trump.
brothers in the hood
Before Trump. I said I'm the inner city conservative. I might be the only one right now, but there's going to be a wave of us because I'm in the hood. I talk to these
I'm hearing these guys.
I hear their values.
That's right.
I know what but because they've been inundated with Democrat,
Yeah,
they know
racism practices, racism literature.
Yes, they know different. They're just waiting for somebody to come with the message that resonates with them.
Racism literature.
This is why when Donald Trump said, what resonated was the realness. Hey man, you look at your schools, look at your communities.
Rat infested.
Yep, roach infested.
Rat infested. Oh, he talking about Baltimore. It was the truth.
Hold on, shitholes.
It was the
I'm
truth.
gonna call it what it is. That's what he said. I live in it. I know he wasn't lying. It's the God's honest truth.
God's honest truth.
Okay.
And then our mayor, who was a Democrat, had nerve to walk down the street, who was Jack Young. He walked down one of them streets and somebody said, would you live here? He said, hell no.
Yeah, exactly. And his thing, the realest thing that he said was, and I quote, hell, well, give Trump a try. You've tried all that other stuff.
Yeah.
That means other Republicans. That means all the Democrats. Yeah, I've tried black people. You've tried all of everything. And look at where you at. Do you realize, Ty, that Baltimore City and Prince George's County are the two blackest counties in Maryland, predominantly?
Yeah.
And they have the worst school systems.
And they're run by black folks.
And they rank, and they have the most money allocated.
The most money allocated in the country.
In the country, to both districts.
Yes.
And they have the worst.
I've said that before.
The worst.
Last week we talked about, when we got off of the mess, I talked about the schools. And I talked about, this money is going to get issued to the same entities who ran it in the ground.
Well, again, I go back to the same entities that run it in the ground. I'm far from a xenophobe, but I'm looking at the people who are in charge of everything. For whatever reason, the people that are in charge of black people have black skin, but they don't look nothing like the people that grew up in my neighborhood.
No, King.
And what I mean by that is, the people in India are our complexion and darker. Just so y'all know, they're looked at as white. If you go through it, all those Iranians and Pakistanians and
Mommy talked about that last week. Remember last week?
Cambodians, all those
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they're classified as white.
White, yes.
This is why when they come here, they have the advantage to get into these stores
and malls and all that type stuff. Yes.
And buy houses because they're classified as a different
white.
type
They're
of
not
a citizen.
People of color. They're not a people of color.
And those are the people who are in charge. I guarantee you, the same man, I don't know his name, but I know that he's of Indian descent.
Vincent.
No, that's he's the guy that's in charge of juvenile justice.
Right, okay.
The other one, he's the director.
And he's an Indian guy.
Yeah, he is too.
Right.
He's the director of the Maryland State Board of Education.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the one that's right down.
Mushada or something. Yeah, something like that. I know you talking about. Yeah, I know you talking about.
The same standards that he has for his kids, he doesn't require for the kids that are in Prince George's County and Baltimore City.
Nope.
Because, and this isn't something that we're just highlighting now,
because
I want you to understand that this has been going on for decades.
King,
you talked about 60 years.
Yeah.
You know,
I told you 60
nothing
years.
has changed in
60
over
years.
60
Still
years.
dope and coke.
And the school systems are still the same. We still talking about.
Do you know, King, some of the schools still don't have air conditioners?
Yes, I do. And that
and this is under black leadership.
And this goes back to the conversation that, we had with Cookie last year.
Yeah.
When I was calling into the radio station, I was like, yo, you work in the system, please tell me what's going on. It's an embarrassment for anybody who works in the school system who has a modicum of respect and care for them kids, and real development of the children. Youth.
That's right.
You understand that they have to work in such environments.
Yeah.
And they're talking about putting a whole bunch of, basically buying out Target and Walmart other window units and sticking them all through the school. Yeah. How practical is that?
Again, a holistic way of going at things.
Because they're using money that they don't have to pay back. They're using money from the taxpayers that's paying for all of this stuff that you don't even agree to, because they wrap it up. And I've said this before, and I learned this from my nephew. What up, nephew? All right, that they have these bills.
You gotta call in.
Yeah, we have these bills. Caller, please call
back.
Caller,
if you called in, call right back. We got you ready to get on the line. Yeah, call right back in.
Yeah, my nephew Jamal told me this. He's like, when they do a bill, they just don't do a
bill.
Caller? They wrap it up in like 3,000 pages, and then they institute it like.
Go ahead, Ma. Can't hear you. Ma, I don't know what's going on with your phone. You might need to call back in. We can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah. Oh, I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about the children with this education.
Go ahead.
I had an opportunity this week to help with recording grades for a high school here. You would not believe the amount of students in the high schools that are failing.
We believe it. Go ahead.
Their attendance is up in the 200s and 300s for being absent from
that's
school.
The whole school
that's
year.
The whole school year.
Or at least half.
That's what I'm new. I was so heartbroken when I left to see what I saw and to know that our children are not being educated. They are being thrown by the wayside with the pretense of educating these kids.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And let me say this too. I believe, and I might be wrong, but I believe when the white teachers, some of them, started coming into the schools so-called educating our black kids, they were not intentional about helping them. Because I had an incident up at St. Luke's Lane at the elementary school there when Chucky was in school there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a Chapter 1 program that I pulled kids out of the class to work with them one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had a white young teacher. She was supposed to give me the materials to work with those kids. Well, I would say into maybe a couple of weeks, I noticed she started giving me games. She stopped giving me the material for the children.
Start giving you games, huh?
She started giving me games to go out to the room. They play some games. So I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, what's going on? So I waited one day till the kids went to lunch, and I said to her, and I never will forget her name. Her name was Mona. I said, Mona, I need to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, our program is not for you to give me games for these children to play with. Our program is to give me materials where I can work with them to come up to grade level or do better. I went to the principal. I went to my supervisor. Nobody did nothing.
No, because the status quo.
Nobody.
Yeah, you were rallying the ship, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't do anything.
Yeah, you were.
So when Chucky got his grade for PE, we had several white kids and teachers in the school. Now I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes and witnessed. Chucky got a low grade in physical education. So now I'm in the school every day. Teacher never said, Miss McCaskill, there's a problem with Chuck. Newt, whoever, Chucky. So when I see the grade, I go to her. And I said, I want to know how in the world could you grade him like this when I have looked in your room and all you have been doing is they jumping over some sticks?
You
did not teach them no aerobics, nothing to educate our kids. But when the white kids from the other school would come to have a program in sports, Newt, they was about 4 and 5 years old, ready to go to higher levels in sports.
Yes.
But our black principal wouldn't address it.
Hey, Ma, what you talking about seems like, it seems like I'm going to go right back to one of your things. When you talk about the absentees of 201 year and all that, I'm going back to what you always say, King, and Mommy always say, it seems like this is a household issue, right?
Yes, it is. I'm not saying that
it's
a household issue because how can you allow your child to stay home that many times in a school year?
In a school year, yeah.
You don't come to the school to find out why they're not in there. Most of them probably still laying in the bed.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. The children, a child can use things to get his way. You remember that, Ma? Where the child would tell you that the teacher was mean to him, and the teacher ain't mean to him. He just want to do him or trying to be them. So right now, we have a situation right now where the children are using all the obstacles right now not to participate in school, not to participate in education, higher education right now. You have a thing called mental illness right now. They're running on this so much. They got COVID layover issues now. COVID has messed the children up and all this old type things, and the children are using this. You want to say this?
Well, I go back to the dress code for teachers.
Go ahead.
When the white teachers came into the black school system, they start coming looking like I don't know what. Wrinkled pants, hair wasn't really combed. And you stand before our black kids looking a hot mess yourself.
So
there was no professionalism to some of those white teachers at all.
Well, it's the new thing though, Ma. It's the new thing about this you don't have, we're here to teach. We don't have to be dressed up.
I'm not meaning I'm
but
talking
you should
about
be.
Being presentable.
You should be dressed up.
Any leadership position
Yes.
to me call for
That's
you
right.
to be set apart from the people that you are standing before.
Especially when it's children.
That's how I feel about
Especially
that.
when it's
I might
children,
be
Ma.
old school,
Yeah.
but that's the way I feel about that.
Well, let us chime in on it real fast. King, you guys want to throw in on Mom what Mommy said about that, or you want me to roll with it?
You can roll with it.
Well, like I said, man, again I say, man, we go back to your saying. A lot of this stuff has to start at home. And what we're seeing is that home has been laxed, really. Home has been to the point where home don't even have standards anymore, King.
Well, yeah, I've been speaking about that.
Yeah, home don't even have standards anymore, man. So
I know that.
and I said when you
and
said
I feel sorry for these kids that are coming up in those type of home environments.
No standards.
Because they don't have a chance, really.
Thank you. But
they don't have
is
a chance.
that is that a society thing, or is that the home not enforcing or putting these values into that child or children? Go ahead, King. Hold on, Ma. Go ahead, King.
All of that starts at
Hold on, Ma. Hold on, Ma. Go ahead, King.
All of that is home.
Hold on, Ma.
And then society plays a part in it when they started telling the parents what they could and what they could not do.
Ma, let us chime in on it real fast. Go ahead, King.
Well, okay.
Get it right, King.
You know me, I'm built off of personal responsibility.
That's what we talk about. Yes, go ahead, King.
There comes a time when you have to be personally responsible for your actions. Now, when you missing 200 days of school and you a parent and you going to work, you getting the calls and you doing this and you having the conversations, but you can't hold their hands and make them go to school. And because they've relaxed a lot of the truancy laws and things of that nature, it's hard for
adults to act. That's right.
The parents to hold the kids accountable because there's no outside force when they break the law to get them, so they can be like, all right, now you done messed up.
Yeah.
And
there you go.
You done messed up.
There
so now
you go.
it's on you from here on out.
It's
if
on
you do A, B, or C, this is gonna happen. You have to do A, B, B, D, or E. If not, you're gonna run into a major problem. And I think that we've given them a lot of out, because if you grow up in a situation where you know that you're disadvantaged, this is where a lot of people now, not even nowadays, but a lot of your millionaires are out here now that are telling the stories like, listen, I didn't have. I know what it was like. So I had to work. I had to put in, hours upon hours upon hours to get it right. And, not everybody is going to put in the same work to get those same desired results.
That's right.
That's right. So at a point, okay, you young, I get it. But then at a certain age, you're looking at life. And I've always said this, you might look at a 15, 16, 17-year-old and think that they're a kid, but then they open up their mouth and then they tell you some of the things
yeah.
And then they sit there
and you call them a baby. You call them a baby, huh?
Yeah, they're thinking on a level that's way more logical than people that's my age.
Yes.
You look at them and be like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a personal responsibility. We can't keep blaming the house. All right, we know the house is messed up. Now they want to go inside the house to figure out what the problem is. That's another $20, $30, $40 million for them to investigate Johns Hopkins or the University of Maryland to do some case study.
Yeah, give us a percentage again. Yeah.
I mean, embarrassing is coming up to the podium talking about this has been a resounding success, talking about the commissioner, and we reduced crime 17% over 4 years, and non-fatal shootings, I guess, was 7%. I'm like,
go ahead, man. Keep it brief, though, man. We ain't got that much time. Keep it brief real fast.
Well, Kingsley, have you heard of Umar Johnson?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Nice crook.
I watched him somewhat on Facebook last night, and that man has some vital points, some very interesting points about the things that we are confronted with in our country and abroad and things of that nature.
And let me
say what he said yesterday that really struck me. He said the LBGQ, whatever those letters are, what the system has done, they have caused that to become another way of abortion for people. Because he was saying that if a man and a man can't have a child, a woman and a woman can't have a child, that's another situation where the people, people will not be able to
Procreate.
multiply.
That's right.
Well,
Hey, Mom, I have to let you go, Mom.
Okay. Well, Mom, let me just say this. I said all of that last week in between my little ranting that I did. You know, it was another form of eugenics, which is population control. And he just shortened it and said, you know, another form of birth control, which is, we already know that. That's why at 7 and 8, they want you to make decisions, excuse me, 4 to 8, you can make decisions
on reproduction
on,
system.
you know, changing your gender, but at 25, you can't be held accountable for birth.
Let me let Mom go. Hey, Mom. Mom, I got that too, Mom. Thank you. I got that. I was going to say something to you about it. Thank you. I got that.
Okay. Well, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and as usual, I enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you, Mom.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you again, Mom.
The only thing with Umar Johnson is this. Umar Johnson lost a lot of his credibility with this school that he was supposed to do, and he took millions and millions and millions from people in donations. Anybody who ever heard Umar Johnson talk, when I said donations 3 times, they know exactly what I'm saying. He swindled the people. He bought some kind of ran down school. It's still not up. How many years later? He's been talking about putting a school together since 2010, King, 2011, 2012.
I want to talk about the public service that the mayor has put out for the curfew, and normal citizens are going around to the children to pick the children up with the van. Did you see what happened in Cherry Hill? You see what? Well, didn't we not talk about that?
No, say it.
Did we not talk about that?
For the people that's not in Baltimore, say what happened in Cherry Hill.
Yeah. Well, the citizens that he got out to help with the curfew, some of them gonna end up killed. I'm gonna call it what it is. I'm going to straight. They broke the window out the joint. They had to run out of there because they was on their A's. And he, just like we've been talking about this for years. They on the 545, what's the young black man that's running? He tried to run for office, he didn't make it, but he's always talking about, you know, the government and politics and stuff. It might be him, and he said, look, hey man, you can already set some people up to get hurt.
Well, he already has.
You can already set some people, this doesn't make sense.
There you go. Now
is this stupidology on faith?
Well, this is why you have the commissioner resigning.
Yes.
Because if the job was going that good, it's not like he's complaining about pay.
No.
He's getting paid.
Yeah.
All of them are making at least $200,000 a year.
The moralness is gone.
Okay? Yeah. All of the morals is gone.
Yeah.
He's privy to these conversations. He sees the rituals that's taking place.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm going to have to go out there and pick up a normal citizen off the ground for getting his head hit for some children, but we can't follow this rule.
I'm about to go.
The mayor said that it's not no big thing.
That's no big thing.
What happened? That's not really a big thing.
Well,
That happens all over the place, all over the country.
But that's not what we're talking about.
It's easy for them to say that because when you demonic and collecting souls is what you do, you know, again, this is what happens.
You minimize it, huh?
You minimize
the worst situation we've seen in over 40 years in Baltimore.
You have anarchy and mayhem literally taking place right in front of your eyes. And if you don't have a certain look or know how to maneuver through these streets in Baltimore, you get hurt. You become a victim. Ty, tell me I'm lying.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you, I just told you about what happened this morning.
These people.
The lady comes out my door, out our house down the street. And she's been coming out lately. She just moved there no more than a year or so, too. Older lady, about in the 60s, 70s. It's a vacant house next door. They in the house next door, smoking coke, doing everything. She's horrified, scared. She comes out and asks me, can you do something? I went in the house, called the police. And I sat out there with him. Yeah, I called the police, so get your dope fiend, crackhead, A's out of here. You don't live here. This lady is scared. And we are not protectors of our community anymore. You know, I hear all these stories about somebody protect. We used to be protectors in our communities. You're not going to do this right here in front of this old lady. She's scared of you. You get me?
Yeah, but you see what.
But the police came, King.
No, but what happened
Yeah,
was
go ahead, King.
that the intellectuals took over. The dudes that used to hustle and had the morals and principles, they got their money. They started business. They moved out.
Kingpins.
They live out in the county now.
Yeah, kingpins. They
They
call
done
us
moved,
kingpins.
yeah, they moved down to Gaithersburg,
Yeah.
Frederick,
King, I say,
Allegheny.
man. King, I'll
You
get
know,
my public
they-
serviceman when you get a chance. Go ahead, King. Go ahead, King.
They've done all these things. So, they're not teaching them anything anymore.
No.
And then you got these folks out here that's making excuses for
Yeah,
them
King.
constantly. And then you see these things happening, and I'm
Yeah,
just
man.
like, man,
Yeah, man.
Again, I had to go before you get to public
Man.
service. I had to holler at a dude in my neighborhood about, a kid. I didn't know it was his son or not, but I said something to him. He's like, no, it's not my son, but I know, the lady, whatever. I was like, yeah, well, little yo was sleeping on my steps, and I'm like, well, why you sleeping on my steps? You live 2 doors down, and the other day I come out of my house, and him and some, another little boy posted up on my car. So I came out there, and initially, I was gonna go in, but then I'm looking, I'm like, what are y'all out here doing? And he's like, nothing. I said, y'all ain't got nothing to do? They said no.
Yeah, go to train tracks and throw some rocks like we used to do. You remember rock skipping on the water?
Yeah.
You go on the rock. For all the people that these children don't know what to do, go to a pond and catch some crayfish.
But see, here goes back to what I said.
Yeah, you need
about-
something to do, huh?
Remember the
Fix your line out of
remember
something.
the things that I said that
Yeah.
how we get the community, how we can get our community back on track?
Yeah.
Well, there are 2 young boys who they father is not nowhere around.
Yeah.
That should be there. See, that's the bigger
Yeah,
picture.
that's the
of
bigger
it.
picture.
So that's why when I went out there, I was like, but still, get off my car.
Yeah, get off
you know
the
what I'm
car,
saying?
yeah.
I had to put that in there. But I had to tell them, I'd be like, listen, what's going on here? And I was like, they was like, can I get $1? I was like, first of all, that's not how you ask. Second of all, I was like, I should get maximum respect from. I said, because every time you ask me for money, I always give it to you.
Right.
He's like, oh yeah, that's right. I said, yeah, that is right.
Yeah, that is
I
right.
was like, now, you got to do better. Now, here's the funny part. That was my conversation with him. They ain't leaped on my car. I haven't seen him around the neighborhood.
That's
like
right.
that.
Again,
and it's not being
patrolling.
overly.
Thank you.
It's not being overly aggressive. I
Thank you.
didn't come off and try to be hard. I spoke to them. Then I spoke to the man. And when I talked to him, he was looking at me like, well, why are you talking to me? I was like, because my course of action before I talk to any woman, because I didn't know if you was the father, the boyfriend, whatever, is to come see you because I know that you be in that house.
Yeah.
And if you in that house, then you should have some kind of say with the mother. Be like, hey, man.
Manliness say in the house. Thank you, King.
I got somebody just pulled me up
That's
in the
right.
street
Yeah.
about,
About you 2 boys.
about
About you 2 boys.
about your kid.
Yes,
you
your
know?
children.
So,
Not mine.
Not mine.
And y'all in the neighborhood doing this, like 1 or 2 doors down. That's gonna cause conflict and problems. But when you haven't learned proper conflict resolution, you just get to a point where you just start yelling and accusing people, and then you start excusing bad behavior and thinking that everything is
Okay,
everything. when
like
it's
I
not.
say, man,
Make
you
a
know,
public service announcement.
It's time for the public service announcement, guys. Again, I say the spring thaw is here. The spring thaw is here.
Yeah.
We clearly seen that the curfew ain't work, right? So what make you think the collaborative gonna work? We already seen it don't work, guys. But any patrons coming into the top of Maryland, if you're coming in through Oakland, and that's Port Deposit, that's that rich area, ain't it? Port Deposit. You get down to Port Deposit, anywhere in the between that I just said, beware of the wild squeegee crossings. If you run up against them, King, and I got something else to add to this because I had a call in and gave me another call. I
Call the feds.
said, do not give them any eye contact.
Yeah.
If it gets ugly, if you put your window down and give them your phone and give them dialogue and you get hit in your mouth or something get took from you, take it on the chin.
It's on you.
It's on you for talking to a stranger at a light before you got home to see your own damn family.
Asking
You
for
get
dirty
me?
ass.
Asking for dirty change. You got what you got. But anyway, if it gets ugly, proceed through the light with caution and call the police. That is our weekly wild squeegee alert call. But I want to add a little bit to the public service because Brother Charles called in yesterday, last week.
Yeah.
And he said, nah, Ty, but you might need to give him the eye.
Yeah. I
He
understand
said,
what meant.
you remember the evil eye that your mother or your grandmother could give you? He said, that's what I give them when I pull up at the light. So Sometime though, Brother Charles, I heard what you said, but as combative as these villains are, I don't think that's conducive. You
To
might
your
end
health,
up
yeah.
might end up in a bad situation. So to all patrons, like I said, proceed through the light and call the police if necessary. That's our weekly wild squeegee crossing alert. King, again I say, you know, we said that because it was women and children in the car, King. Again I say, man, King, you know, the whole ship is falling apart in a sense. And the reason we won't call it what we see is because we have this black-white thing still existing in our myth or whatever. It's there, but we won't let it go.
Well, listen, when you have the crutch of racism,
Good
and,
call.
you know,
Or the
that-
walker of racism.
the walker of black supremacy.
yeah. Go ahead, King.
You know,
Yeah.
these things, you know, they're bound to happen. I mean, we living in a climate where everything and everyone, quote unquote, is racist. You know?
Yeah.
And nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. You know, 13. I'm gonna say it again, Ty.
Wow.
We are 13%, call it 18% tops of the entire population of the United States of America.
Black people.
And commit 50% of the crimes. All crimes.
13% of us. And we, no, King, I'm going
See,
65.
see,
I'm going 65%.
Well, see, this is where when I see, you know, white guys like Mark Dice come on and he's clowning, I listen to him. You all should check out
Yeah.
Mark Dice too. He's funny as hell. He's on YouTube and Rumble. And you know, he says things and I'm just sitting there like, you know what? He's right.
He's right.
He's like, oh, through the prisms of racism, you won't ever get anything done.
You
But
won't.
more-
Thank you.
But more importantly,
King, say that again.
through the prisms of
Racism.
prisms,
Black people
yeah,
won't get nothing. What?
accomplished.
Thank
done.
you.
I mean, and when I say prisms, I'm talking about the thing that refract light.
Yes,
Because
good
light
call.
is what comes in. It's pure and white, but it gets broken down when it hits a prism into its different color spectrums. And that's what a prism is. That's where we're at.
Yeah,
You know?
King, I tell you,
And
man.
white people, I want you to understand, they're not really scared of black people.
No.
What they're waiting on is for you to come on their property so they can
But
shoot you.
thank you. That's
That's another
that's
public service
another
announcement.
that's another public service
Stop
announcement.
thinking that, you know, you
Yeah, that
really...
all white people scared
Yeah,
of blacks, huh?
yeah,
Okay,
stop
yeah,
thinking
okay.
that you know, you invincible. Yeah, I got a Glock. I got this. I got that.
Yeah.
They got the same thing you got. They just got a whole bunch more.
I heard the narrative again, the gunfight at the school in Essex.
Hey,
You seen that, right?
Yeah.
Where
You
there was a shooting at the school, and next they come to find out that
Two
two
boys,
kids
yeah.
met up at the school
took
and
gun
had a
out
shootout.
like the old
At the
West,
school.
like the OK Corral. Literally
So-
face off and
Black
shoot
person,
each other
young
up.
black lady gets on the joint, they put the mic in front of her face, and she hit the same old black narrative. Well, where are they getting the guns from? He bought it.
Why does he doing that?
What do you mean where he getting the gun from?
He found it in
You
the
can
creek.
buy it now off a line.
Hold on, Ty. He found it in the creek while he
Yes.
was fishing, doing something constructive.
Constructive.
Where you think
Where you
he got
think
the
he
gun
got
from?
it from? Stop. This is what I'm talking about. What did you say? The prisons of racism won't allow us or something. This is why.
If you view life through the prism of racism, you will never get anything done.
Yes. And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We
You know
won't
why?
let that view go.
You know why? Because there was an example set back in the 60s and 70s. See, the Reverend Jesse Jacksons and the Al Sharptongues and
Yeah.
all the other, you know, freedom fighters and Muslim and black come back to black people and all this stuff. All of that was, you know, back then it was, you know what? We know that they don't like us. We don't need them. We'll maneuver around them.
Ain't that what we talk about?
Over them.
Ain't that
underneath
what
them.
I talk
And
about
if
every
they
day on this show?
stand
Every
in my-
week on this show,
And
King?
if they stand in my way too long,
I'm
I'ma
gonna knock
them
you
down.
out my way.
I'm getting you out my
I'm
way.
getting you out my way.
That was how we dealt with civil rights in the 50s
Thank
and
you.
60s. I just want you guys to know this. Those who are out here thinking
Yes.
that marching and burning down stuff in your community,
Bringing a statue
and
down.
tearing down statues,
Statues,
is
yeah.
something.
Ain't
no.
mean nothing.
What we did was, you know what? Oh, okay. So they want us to do nothing. We ran numbers. That's your modern day lottery today.
Yes, that's your modern day lottery day. Number man.
Okay.
Yeah, they took that from
Okay.
us.
When they had packs that went out. Okay.
Yes. Just
Dates.
like the lottery.
You know, the packs that went out, where you think your drug company come from making little dosage to give to you so you can
It came from us.
from selling them on so they can sell it to you. Because in the 60s and 70s, they was making them dope packs with them
Yes.
the wax bags.
With the
and
right
folding
amount
them,
of synergy.
and they was sending them out there. It was a
Yes.
damn clinic.
Yes. It was business,
It
King.
was business.
Thank you, King. I like where you went back onto that because you brought us back to some old things that some
Well,
folks that
listen, if they
know
want to
about.
look, if they want to cry racism, this is how we defeated it back then. We was like, all right, he can be as racist as he
Yeah.
want to. Understand this: if you don't like me, I don't like you. So the best thing that you could do is get out of my way
And let me do
if
what I'm
you
doing.
Don't, every opportunity that I've taken to bypass
That's
you,
right.
and you've made yourself an obstacle, I'm going
I
to
have to
remove
remove you from me, in
That's
front of
it.
me.
Because
And
you
that's
made
how we
yourself-
dealt with racism
And that's
back
how
then.
and
We
guess
didn't
what?
deal with it this emotional way that we
And
dealing
guess
with
what?
it now.
The white people who were racist,
Respected
they got
us.
they got isolated.
That's
and then
right.
they realized that they didn't have the numbers.
They-
and
thank you.
They knew they were looking like, oh, we're gonna lose this.
Yes.
Because we don't have all white people that supporting this
Yes.
foolishness.
Yes.
You know? So be mindful of what you're asking and what you're looking for, because this is what we got
Yes.
going on now. And we got a whole bunch of black people out here who claim that they are our saviors going to get money, but instead of funneling the money
I got,
into the community, one second,
go ahead,
Ty.
go ahead.
Instead of funneling the money into the community to people who will really do things with it and build up the community and centers and churches and all that
I
stuff.
got a question, though.
Instead
Okay.
of that money is being sent out to their friends and their friends' children through
Why?
nepotism and
I
favoritism.
got a question, though.
Sure.
Why aren't we talking about, why are we afraid to talk about black on black violence and crime on each other?
Because the
We
narrative.
still are not talking about that, and
Because-
that's what's happening.
Because the narrative is you only complain about black crime and violence when it's a white police
I
officer.
get that. I guess that's right.
So
That's
that
the
is
narrative.
the narrative.
I get
there.
that. I get that.
And
We
that
talked about that.
No matter what it is, no matter what happens. Come on, Ty, it was just 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago
yeah.
that what you call them in Chicago, it was 50 people shot over the Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
19 or
Well,
something of them died.
but again, I say, you know, as a race of people, you eventually
Hold on.
have to weed out the bad ones, right?
Hold on. And I'm gonna tell you know, again, to these people who are so anti-gun violence and talk about guns this and guns is the problem, guns is the problem. Okay, well, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there was a knife attack in France on some children.
Yeah.
The man stabbed up a couple of kids,
Yeah.
and the kids are in critical condition.
Yeah.
It just goes to show what I said 2 or 3 weeks ago about anything can be used
As a
in
weapon.
As a weapon.
Anything.
You know, it's all in how
You
you
use
use it.
Good call,
Everything
King.
is a tool.
King, I
until you
say,
use
even
it.
our mouths.
Yeah, it's a weapon.
Even our mouths
Yeah.
can be
It's
weaponized.
a tool until you weaponize it and use it
Yeah.
in a destructive manner.
How about that? We lived
sorry
it.
about
We
that,
lived
man.
it, didn't we? We just lived
I
that.
live it every day.
Weaponizing of a mouth. Anyway.
I live it every day. That's why.
Anyway, King, I say, man, you know, King, man, you know, we just dancing around this one issue. I mean, we're in Baltimore City. We're in Baltimore City, predominantly black, predominantly all black officials, predominantly all black police. And we won't talk about that issue.
Because
And,
if you do, Ty, all those people will lose their jobs. Remember, there was the black people that came in that said that they was going to save the black people from all of this crime stuff.
So it's
You
almost like
forget-
a pilot. If he say he's seen a
So-
UFO, he in trouble, huh?
Listen, what mayor has come in who hasn't said that has been black in the last recent years that you can remember? And
None
yet,
of them.
And yet crime is still spiking. Brandon Scott been in here 4 years now. Marilyn Mosby, she ran up body counts.
Vietnam counts.
over-
Vietnam counts.
you know,
Vietnam counts. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
she ran up, body
Yeah,
counts.
yeah,
you
Vietnam.
know, over 8 year span. And what
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you is, they're collecting souls. The more people that die, the more power that they get. Don't you see how powerful the Mosbys are? Don't you see where Brandon Scott is trying to, draw their energy from? See, it sounds outlandish. It sounds crazy. But when you really look at it, especially those people who claim that they're in the Bible, you Christians out there, you Muslims out there, you freedom fighters, you people who the quest for knowledge, that the things that are taking place
are not right.
And they're being aided by some kind of a demonic spirit that is taking over these people that are doing the things that they're doing.
Well, you say the Jewish people, they went through the Holocaust, and that's where the word ghetto came from, their situation. Remember?
Well, yeah.
And we adopted it over here.
Yeah.
We adopted it over here. You want to know why we adopted it? Because I said again, if you go from the tip of Portland and Oregon, if you go from the top of Oregon to the bottom of Florida, it's German, Dutch, all the way across the United States.
Yeah.
You want to know why the swastika is still being done in the United States? In the United States, the real places where they got footing in is Dutch, German.
Yeah.
Dutch and German.
Yeah.
All across the United States. I seen the map, the historical map of the Dutch and the German.
Yeah.
I say, King, King, they found a way, and the Jews found a way to use the Holocaust to profit and make their nation better.
Well,
we have not found that way yet.
I'll tell you how they did it,
Go ahead, King. We got a few minutes. Go ahead, King.
Okay, well, you talk about the Rothschilds, and how they get that. He said, and I quote, "Man, listen, I let you politicians write all your laws and you do whatever it is that you want to do. Just give me control of the money."
Yeah.
And he had 5 sons. He sent his 5 sons into the 5 places. He sent them to Italy, if I'm not mistaken, France, Germany, the Dutch, England, and someplace else. He had sent them all over. And basically what they did was they took over the banking system. The Federal Reserve Bank that we use today, that is exactly what they set up. The paper note that you got that says, this is a federal note, that's not even a federal note because they're not even federal. The Federal Reserve is not even connected to it. It's a private entity. And people don't know that. But this is how they got that foothold. I mean, it's a little more than that. Talk about stocks and bonds. One of their sons, basically, during I think it was the French Revolutionary War, knew that the British had defeated the French.
Yeah.
But he got the news first. Went back to England and told England that the French won. Everybody there sold all of their stuff. He bought it for pennies on the dollar. Then the news came back that Britain had won the war, but by then he had owned everything.
Aunt Faye was trying to call in. She must have lost the number, but Aunt Faye, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get in. She might be trying to. If you call Aunt Faye, call on in, and we might get a chance to talk to you.
410-761-1592.
Aunt Faye? Who this? Aunt Faye, give it to me.
Okay, hey.
I ain't got that long now, so you got to keep it brief now. I don't have that long. Keep it brief.
It's starting to continue to ricochet the plan that the mayor has with a purpose. And look at the kids vandalizing the bus.
We talked about that.
A van that's going to transport them.
Yeah.
So now, we back to square one. What is this plan? I mean, really, what is this plan?
We don't know.
Hey, he might need you down there to give him some counseling.
We don't know what it is, Aunt Faye. At the point that you told the police that the children could tell you what the devil they gonna do, that created anarchy right there. You gotta close your window, Aunt Faye.
Man, we living in some serious praying times. Believe that when I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, what about the thing I always say, Aunt Faye, about adults are missing in City Hall?
Yeah. And then not only that, let's look at the reality of this thing. If the children are being disrespectful, where they lay their heads at, being defiant, having oppositional behavior to those that feed them, what makes you think they're going to listen to a stranger? Come on, y'all, get real.
He's going to get some of these citizens hurt, Aunt Faye. Some of these people get hurt.
Get real. I
Yeah.
like how she said that.
Well,
Get
on
real.
Faye, I don't have too much time, and you gave me a little extra time and everything, but I'm gonna have to let you go here.
Not a problem. I apologize for calling so late, but I'm busy doing a lot of things today.
Okay. Good to hear
Have
from
a
you.
good day.
All right. Hey,
Are they
King.
getting paid for
Oh.
those volunteers?
No, that's
Why
why-
would
No.
they volunteer?
No, I think they get something. They don't get no
They
money.
don't get nothing for that. They might
Oh,
get a
this
stipend.
volunteer?
Yeah, it's volunteer. They might get a stipend for gas, but no, they're not getting any money for that. The money that's being allocated for that is going to the people that's inside of those places.
Safe
that-
Streets and all those people
Well,
getting
no,
that
I ain't
money.
talking about them. The people that they're supposed to be going to those
Yeah.
centers. They're supposed to be. Those people are getting paid.
Oh, at the centers, waiting
Yeah.
for them.
See, and again, you got to keep in mind, why would we look at his plan? When she say, "Let's get real," look at the DPS. How demoralizing is it that you're gonna give $15 million to a 501c3 company to come in and privatize to pick up trash, and yet you got a
Baltimore
citywide
City trash.
system that's hemorrhaging people,
Yes.
and you won't hire those people or pay them a decent salary.
Little bit more
because
money.
that's the most reason why most people are leaving.
Thank you,
It's
King.
because they're not getting paid any kind of money. So when you see all this stuff taking place, as a commissioner, as a director, as a deputy mayor, underneath this, you have to see that, this guy is nuts. He's so arrogant that he really is not listening to anybody.
To anybody.
That's what Sheila Dixon is talking about when she say, you have to stop being so arrogant. She's talking to him.
She talking to him. Yeah, she talking to
He is
him.
full of himself.
He's gone crazy
All you
right
gotta
now.
do is look at him at the press conference today. Look at how he was,
At the
like he's
point-
looking literally down the barrel of his nose.
At the point that the citizens
telling
of
you.
Baltimore are consistently saying the exact same thing. Something needs to be done.
Nothing
And when they
will be
say
done.
that, they're talking about taking people away and giving them enough time to realize, hey, you done something wrong now. You done something wrong now. Now, if you don't want to get taken away for a long period of time,
Then don't
you
do
need to
it.
check this.
Yes.
But if you continue to do this,
That's right.
we're going to have to do something. And we're not doing anything. And that's why I guarantee you, this summer, downtown, Pratt and Charles, we will see tear gas and children running. And the narrative is going to be that the white establishment has come out and shut this down, and look what they're doing to our children.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the narrative.
Because you see
look
that
at what they doing to our babies.
Well-
They were just down there just playing.
Well, look at Fells Point.
Yes.
You got businesses that are starting to close up and flee.
And leave.
They're starting to leave because the rent down there is ridiculous.
Yes.
So closing early really is not an option.
It's not an option.
So what they're doing is they're closing early as they're looking for other places
Yes,
to move their
to
business.
move their businesses.
Because they're no longer
In
gonna
the
take it.
counties.
Yeah, they're no longer going to tolerate it.
Yes,
And
yes.
I'm telling you, y'all can say whatever y'all want about me. I'm going to be behind one of them gated communities.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with that. You want to,
I'm just
as
telling
a
you.
human, black or white, and it seems to me that we have an issue with the black people crying out for good life. We have I'm not saying us, but when we talk about black people experiencing a perfect, or not a perfect, but a good natural life in existence, it's like something, I'm talking crazy or something.
Because you
Am I?
are. Because unless you have $1 million
Wow.
and you riding around in
Wow.
the latest $200,000 car and you got a $500,000 boat and you live in a $2 million. See how outlandish I'm sounding?
yeah.
Your $2 million house, and you got some bust down chick telling you, you got to provide for me.
Don't that
And
sound like Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, and then you looking at them, you be like, listen, I accomplished all this without you.
You counted all the money Black Lives Matter just for talking. Go ahead, King.
You know?
Go ahead, King.
I'm like, I'm just
Thank
being,
you,
I'm
thank
being
you.
real. I'm
Thank
being
you,
honest.
Gene.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Gene.
King.
Got it, son.
Again, I say, man, here at the Tyrone Hour, awareness, shock treatment. What else, King?
Accountability, responsibility,
And
self-discipline.
self-discipline at all times, and when you have issues with people. I hope y'all understand what I'm talking about. Have a great weekend.